Hello there.
Welcome back, my friend.
Hello, what have we here?
Jedi, we've been expecting you.
Knew I could count on you.
Hello.
Welcome to the rebellion.
What fun!
Hey everyone, Hybrid here, and today we're taking a look at the brand new Star Wars The Black Series 11th Brother as he appears from Maul Shadowlord. This show is excellent, and I'm really happy with the now 4 figures we have from the show. Hopefully there are more coming. I know this year's going to be very Mando and Grogu heavy, but, you know, we've got 2 waves now. We've got a lot of bases covered there. I'd be fine if we got some more Shadowlord, because let's be fair, it was just as good. I had a lot of fun with both the show and the movie this year, so it's just been a great year to be a Star Wars fan in general. But yeah, this is a really exciting figure. It's a Inquisitor that we saw briefly in Tales of the Jedi and was dispatched immediately by Ahsoka. And then they brought him back for Shadowlord, and so he finally got his more than 30 seconds of screen time that qualifies him for an action figure. And yeah, he looks really good in the box. I'm very excited to get him out of the box. One thing I would like to mention right here in the beginning, I made a minor error in my Maul review from Shadowlord. Thanks to Bearded Toy Guy for steering me in the direction in the comment section. Shadowlord Maul actually has minorly different legs. So here is, as I mentioned, you know, when I pop down 2 figures that appear to be reuse, right? Like, as long as they look really close, I'm like, yeah, they're the same thing, right? But Maul's pockets have actually been relocated from the front to the sides of his legs, and the sculpt of the pants, or like just the thigh piece, is very slightly longer. And like, you put them side by side, and he was like, they look absolutely minutely, you know, different heights. And like, take the cloak off, have them both flat feet on the ground. It's extremely minimal, like we're talking millimeters, but he noticed it, and it is there, and the legs are different. So I would like to just give him a little shout out. Thank you for pointing that out, just because I didn't even notice, and I do like to be relatively more or less correct on the reviews, so that's absolutely a correction that needs made. So thank you, Bearded Toy Guy. I appreciate the mention there. And let's go ahead and dive into this review, and hopefully I will get this one right. Let's go. Before we get into the review, let's take a quick look at the packaging. This is the standard Black Series box. If you've seen one Black Series figure before, you've probably seen what's going on here, but all the same, Black Series logo, big window showing him and his accessory off nicely. Maul Shadowlord in red. You have his name there on the side of the box. Warning, 4+ Hasbro. Really cool artwork of him on the side. This side features wraparound stripe, wraparound window, and a Black Series logo. Around back, you have a zoom in on that side art. You have the Black Series logo again, the 11th Brother, and then a bio about the show, not the character, because it's just too close to the show for them to want to risk any spoilers. Third in the Shadowlord lineup once more. A bunch of legal stuff, Disney, Hasbro, barcode, barcode, legal stuff, hanger tabs. Sorry, went the wrong way there. But very standard action figure packaging stuff. If you've seen a Black Series box, like I said, you know what you got here. Let's open them up, see what's going on. So here's the 11th Brother out of the packaging. Before we dive too into the figure, which, spoiler alert, is very interesting, let's go ahead and take a quick look at his one and only accessory, his double-bladed lightsaber. So this lightsaber is cast in a dark gray plastic. There's no paint on it as far as like the body of the hilt. These Inquisitor ones don't piss me off as much as the silver lightsabers when they don't do that, but still, I don't know. I'd still like to see it. It's got some red punch-ins for some lights, and they are all punched in nice. The 6 around the ring, and then the one on the upper body, or upper part of the main body. Something interesting is on these emitters, there's like these like little gaps on either side, right? And this one, only one of them is punched out. The other one isn't. I don't know if it's supposed to be punched out. The piece of plastic in there looks pretty thick. I don't know. I think it's probably supposed to be, but mine just, maybe they accidentally squeezed a little too much plastic in the factory, but it's very minor, not a big deal. But it's a very interesting looking hilt, not one shared with another Inquisitor. This is a unique hilt to him. It has some very nice, bright red lightsaber blades, and just for fun to compare to the Maul from the Wave, they're very similar, but maybe even a touch more of a vibrant red, so it's kind of interesting. Even in the same wave, they don't quite get super consistent with the sabers. The blades unpeg very snugly, but, you know, it's a secure fit, but there's no peg for, like, belt storage. He doesn't wear it on his back in the show, so he doesn't really have any storage options for it anyway, so not a big deal, but very, very nice looking. And, of course, let's be fair, this Inquisitor, you're gonna pose him rocking that lightsaber, but taking a quick look at this guy, he looks menacing, as he's supposed to. So he's been nicknamed the Crow. I think it's even official. I think that's what they wrote on his Funko Pop box. But in the Black Series, he's labeled the 11th brother. And he has a very bird-looking mask with those red eyes peering out very, very menacingly. The mask is just super intimidating looking, and then the mask is actually part of a solid head sculpt. See, the hood on this guy is all rubber, whereas he has the soft goods cloak. I think that's the way to go on this guy, because like the hood needs to have a good look on him, but I wouldn't want this front encasing, cloak to be made out of rubber. Otherwise, you'd never be able to saber pose him. And yeah, I think it was done generally right. He has a bunch of like fabric wraps covering up the rest of his face. That's generally right to the show. A lot of the times we see him, it's dark, so it's kind of like the hood just kind of seems to be like an empty void, but it's like, how do you do that well on an action figure form? So I like the idea that he's got some head wrappings going on underneath of that mask. So that works very nicely. The cloak actually has some very nice stitching. It's got this kind of like rib running down the front and either side of all that stitching, and it's almost like a double, I don't know, it's like the fabric doubles up and then keeps going. It's a very interesting look, very, very good, well recreated from the show look, but something that Black Series doesn't. Typically your cloak is just a cloak in the Black Series. It doesn't get a lot of like work like that done, so that's a very, very interesting, intricate, well done piece. He has the gray Imperial cogs. They are kind of like the vinyl iron-on type of thing. And then he has this like clasp on his chest, and it has like a loop of stitching on either side to hold the cloak in place in front. So you can kind of maybe pose it billowing a little bit, but ultimately it wants to always come back in front. Of course, you like get his arm up, holding it out of the way. That fits. But these front tabs will always want to kind of connect to that. But let's roll these back just to give you a little bit of a look at what's going on underneath. He has a very Inquisitor-looking outfit going on. He's got a dark gray bodysuit going on. I couldn't tell you if these legs are new or not. They have thigh cut, which kind of makes me think they're old because they, don't typically do that anymore. But I couldn't for sure tell you if these are Grand Inquisitor. He's packed up, so I can't go look. He's definitely not Fifth Brother legs, because the boots are different. So I don't know if they made new legs or, and I mean, honestly, these are just pants with black boots. They could be from anywhere, so it's a little hard to say for sure. There's so many pant and boot sculpts out there that it kind of makes me think surely they're from somewhere rather than being new, and that's okay. And I mean, they look nice. The boots have a nice little cuff at the top, and there's that black glossy leather looking boot. They look good. Another thing making me think maybe they might be new is another thing is like these hands have to be new, with those like long pointed fingers and stuff. But they have vertical hinges, and they've been doing a lot of ball joints lately, so kind of makes me think, gosh, maybe some old technology. Maybe, here's an idea, hypothetical idea. Sometimes figures get made, like designed, and then don't come out for a while. Maybe they made this back when like Tales of the Jedi came out a few years ago, and then he didn't get released, and then he appeared in this show, and they're like, well, we got the prototype, that maybe that's what happened. You never know. But yeah, very interesting looking belt area. He's got some pouches and some straps holding them on, and little red and white buttons on the front and the side. The arms are interesting. Just gray sleeves down to... He's got gauntlets going on. They're kind of, sort of reminding me of like Bad Batch Echo in a way, where more like his legs, where they have like the front knee pad and like the big disc on the knee, except, this is an elbow. But a little blocky looking from the front, but it does... it does translate well, but very, very good looking figure, very interesting sculpt, very good look, very accurate to the show as far as I can, tell. So yeah, I think they did a really good job with this guy. He's just a very cool, like one of the cooler Inquisitors. But let's go ahead and run through some articulation. So I'm sure he probably has a double ball barbell in the head, but, it's like a little bit of a traffic cone syndrome with the chin poking down in the front there. You can absolutely rotate his head, not really any pivot. Pretty much just rotating and a little bit of front and back going on. So the arms can come up to a T-pose like so, and then there is a nice deep butterfly joint in there 360-degree rotation at the shoulder, with the single-jointed elbows going a little past 90 and swiveling, 360 at the wrist, and both hands hinge up and down. Really liking how those turned out. He has the waist-like ball joint going on, allowing him to crunch that far forward, pretty far back, get some side-to-side twist in there, and a ton of pivot. The legs can do that far wide a split, and kick pretty far forward, not much back, upper thigh rotation, single jointed knees, go a little past 90, and then swivels. No boot cut, doesn't really need it, and then the feet point really far down, pretty far forward, and of course your forward-facing pin for rocker, allowing you to get him into some decently wide stances with both feet flat on the ground. Of course, he doesn't need to do anything too crazy once you get the feet flat. He looks menacing right there. Not so much right there. Here's our Shadow Lord crew all together in some fairly neutral, meaning vertically standing poses, not a lot of knee bending. Just to give you a little bit of an idea of scale, the 11th brother is the tallest of the 4 figures, and I do believe that to be fairly accurate. Maul being mostly reuse minus those thighs, thanks again, Bearded Toy Collector. And then Rookcast and Devin Azara being the shortest of the batch definitely makes sense to me. Truthfully, feels like a figure is missing here. When I was packing some figures up just to put in storage, one of them was Marok, temporary storage. I'm doing like some work in my display room. I left Marok aside. That way I could like feature him in this Ultimate Review when 11th Brother came out. And I cannot find him. I don't know where I put him, so I'm sorry about that. But, you know, the Ahsoka series Marok still would look a little rough because of that paint job being even too rusty to even be a good Ahsoka series Marok. This really feels like a bit of a missed opportunity to have like painted him correctly, you know, just rerun that mold and paint it, you know, black, and you know, maybe add a couple little silver touches, but none of the big orange globs. Knowing that figure's run got canceled halfway through, so he's like extremely limited, really sucks knowing that they had like a good opportunity. And truthfully, I really hope Hasbro hears, because I'm not the only one saying it. I hope Hasbro hears us on this and reruns the Marok figure as soon as possible, because this show gave us a great opportunity for them to do it, like a good excuse, and it just sucks that it didn't happen. So at the end of the day, what do I think of the 11th Brother figure? Gosh, this guy is really cool. He poses pretty nice despite some of the articulation being a little bit dated. It was like good articulation from the time that still holds up. So nothing to be upset about there. But he's a great looking figure. He has some shelf presence, and if I had to say, truthfully, of the Shadow Lord figures, he's definitely the coolest. I'm struggling to call him the best figure because I don't know. Devin was done really well. Rookcast is like phenomenal. So, yeah, really not 100% sure if he's like the number 1, but he's probably, if not number 1, number 2 of the set. Definitely going to have to rank these 4 at some point. But what a great action figure. He is so much fun to pose. He has that aura on the shelf, and he's essential. I mean, come on. Most of us have a pretty good Inquisitor collection at this point. But, like, what's one more? This guy is, like, the coolest of the Inquisitors. So, really happy to have this guy. I think if you pick him up, you'll be happy to add him to your collection. And that's really all there is to say. They just did a lot of good work here. So, good job, Hasbro. I'm going to go work on something else now. Thank you for hanging out and watching the video. I hope you enjoyed. I will catch you next time. Until then, may the Force be with each and every single one of you. And I hope you all go on to have a great day. Bye.